This is my spoiler video regarding Captain Marvel. I tried to not mention like almost anything happening inside the movie other than some very trailer based, and even I think I revealed less than trailers to be honest. But nowadays I no longer pay attention too much in trailers, so even if I wasn't expecting how it's gonna go smooth, so I didn't really watch the trailers and talk much about it. So now I'm going to mention some specific elements. So spoilers, warning, okay? So if you continue to watch, you will hear things that are spoiled in the movie. Okay, and I'm going to also, not just Captain Marvel, I might spoil more regarding Wonder Woman, because again, the DC Universe and Marvel Universe, female specific lead movies, these are the two comparable movies. I might also now talk more about the Wonder Woman movie spoiling elements. Okay, so get ready. So Captain Marvel's, I did say that Brie Larson was just okay or satisfactory for the job. Yes, she doesn't have a lot of mimics. There is not much of an emotional thing going on. I mean, at some point she says, "You lied to me," so that's one surprising element, though there was always a possibility. Jude Law is at the beginning the good guy or belongs to the good people. Turns out Jude Law's people, Kree, whatever they're called, I think, are the bad people. Whereas the bad people that are portrayed with this, I wouldn't say ugly, but I would say these scary faces, the Skrulls, I think they're called, they are supposed to actually the refugees, so they are the good guys. So the ones that are at some point capturing Captain Marvel, reading her mind, and etc., they are just trying to get the coordinates of this device, this thing that can do light speed transport, which apparently so there are a couple of civilizations, the humans of course, on the planet. The planet is called CX-53 or CX-53. And there are the Krees that are also human looking. I mean, not just they're also humans, to be honest. And the Skrulls, they are not human looking at all. And there was a fourth race for which Skrulls have the ability to shapeshift, so they can assume the face and behavior of any regular race, any organic, I think, race. Maybe even inorganic. There was a joke about it. Can you become like a file cabinet or something like that? Anyway, so the guy Mendelsohn, I think his name, he's a character of villains. So he was the villain in several things like Batman movie, Dark Knight, I think, Star Wars Rogue One. So he starts as a villain. So I said, oh, okay, yeah, he's the villain guy. But he turns out to be the good guy. That was a surprise. I was not expecting, because he was a cliche bad guy now in these recent movies, I didn't think he was gonna be the bad guy, he was gonna be a good guy. And it starts with all the bad guys, so even in the memories of Carol Danvers, the Captain Marvel, at some point he appears as a bad guy or one of his race. I don't know if he is that person. So she sees somebody with a gun shooting somebody. Whereas turns out that they are just trying to relocate and need this light speed technology, and even would like to unite with their kinsmen elsewhere in the universe. So I didn't think that I would see that, even though I did see kind of that Jude Law character, also a series character, but doesn't directly look like a bad person, though he looked like he has a potential to become bad. Just the way he behaves, and as Younger Joe said in the trailer, there's a bad face walk that he did, which can actually hint that he's a bad guy. So in other words, yeah, um, yeah, Jude Law turns bad guy. Now, the villain is not just Jude Law and his guys though. So now there's actually one of the elements that connects to the previous Marvel Universe movies, and that's actually the Guardians of the Galaxy 1 movie. So there was a guy called Ronan there. I forgot his race, but he was working for Thanos, and he is trying to obtain the purple, dark purple Infinity Stone. I don't know its name, and Guardians of the Galaxy people fight against him, and in that movie. So I shouldn't spoil that movie too much. But Ronan, that bad guy, was in this movie, even though not for a very long time, but for a time, and apparently he's in the same team as Jude Law. So in other words, in a sense, Jude Law is or was working for Thanos. And by the way, I should say is, Jude Law isn't dead at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert, right? So this spoiler part, at the end, Captain Marvel unlocks her potential. She's now very strong, and Jude Law doesn't really stand a chance. Jude Law is saying that, hey, fight me like a real warrior without powers and such. And at some point, I was thinking that that would be a good thing, because Jude Law in a hand combat's portrayed as superior to Carol Danvers. But I actually like the way Carol Danvers responds. Carol Danvers can shoot these beams from her hands, and initially she can only shoot from her hands, and that's her capacity. But apparently, Carol Danvers had something connected to her neck, which was supposed to be, or initially we thought, something that gives her power. Actually, no, it's something that limits her power. That was another reveal. So it turns out, as I understand from the movie, there is a human being that was born and raised on Earth called Carol Danvers. She attended army, and she was a woman, and she was going to be the first woman female pilot back in 80s, I think, yeah. And she got severely injured in this accident, and later on, during that time, when Jude Law came and wants to obtain this alien technology, she shoots. I don't want to even talk too much about what's happening there. The engine that apparently another Kree, but in this case a good Kree person, under a disguise of human being, it has been developing to help the Skrulls. So there are these Skrulls apparently that came to Earth, and they were waiting for this good Kree person to develop this lightspeed technology so that they can basically reunite with other fellow Skrull members. Now, Jude Law and his group get a hold of them and would like to steal that technology, and apparently there was again tied to another Infinity Stone, the Tesseract. So the light engine was using Tesseract for power, I think, as I recall. And there's an explosion. Instead of giving the engine to the Jude Law, Carol Danvers, human being, is targeting that engine, and somehow this is the fourth issue, which I didn't get. She absorbs there's an impact, but she absorbs the power of that type of photonic energy, that's something called photonic, into her body. So she actually is supposedly just a human. Somehow she absorbs it, and I read some comments saying that it's actually Tesseract that makes it possible. So in a sense, she's absorbing part of the Infinity Stone energy, which can just any human being absorb it. So that was one of the weak plot points, to be honest. But Jude Law sees that, and then he brings it back to the Kree planet. And I think Tesseract is not in that device at that moment. So otherwise, because Jude Law is looking for Tesseract too. So Jude Law, yeah, doesn't take the Tesseract with himself. Yeah, I can't exactly recall where Tesseract was. Yeah, Tesseract was stored in the apparently the laboratory that this human disguised Kree had was not on the planet. That was the other thing. So everybody's looking for that laboratory, but it was a good twist that it is part of the planet, but not on the planet. It's in orbit. So the coordinates that people are trying to obtain are actually not coordinates of the Earth, but coordinates of some orbital level, I think, something like that. So that was a good twist. In any case, the Kree people then take this person, the dog tag of Carol Danvers is split into half, and Jude Law looks at the dog tag, and only verse VERS of Danvers is on that part, whereas Carol and Dan is on the other part. So he looks at it and assumes, or just when later they brainwash Carol Danvers, they call her Verse. So I didn't know her name was going to be Carol Danvers, so when I was just looking at the initial parts of the movie, Verse, it absolutely didn't ring a bell for me either. That's the other thing. So I'm not a comic book, Marvel Universe comic book reader either. So this was also a surprise. I think this might not be a surprise for people who are a bit more knowledgeable or just know that her name is Carol Danvers. Danvers. People can make a connection. I didn't. And also that laboratory person, that good Kree person, her name is Marvel with 2 L, and the Captain Marvel with 1 L and not 2 words but single word also apparently comes from that. So even though this is not exactly said like that, so Brie Larson Carol Danvers never say, I am Captain Marvel. It's just there is a discussion between Nick Fury. Nick Fury calls that now dead good Kree Marvel, and she says, no, it's actually Marvel. Yeah, Fury says Marvel. So at some point, she's going to obtain that. In another case, Captain Marvel has an iconic American flag color costume, and initially she has a green costume, her suit, which also helps with some breathing issue. That's one thing that I also didn't get at some point, which was also confusing. So whenever they are in space, that suit creates a helmet and kind of covers their face, and they can remain like that. But as I recall, these are pretty much same or similar human type of Kree people with just some green blood. And Carol Danvers normally is a human, but she receives a blood transfusion from the Kree people, and now whenever she bleeds, she also bleeds green blood, blue blood, whatever. But at the end of the movie, Carol Danvers just goes to space to say bye to these Skrull people she protected, and at that point she doesn't appear with that mask. Whenever she has this mask, she has something like a mohawk, a hair coming from that, which kind of looks weird, but maybe cool. I kind of like that. So that's the other thing, maybe with the yeah, I guess I'm going to talk more about Wonder Woman movie and spoil it a bit. So Wonder Woman's powers are even less understood than Captain Marvel's if you were to look at those movies. So Captain Marvel, after there's some sort of artificial intelligence that is the collective mind and or the leader of these humans. So humans are actually these Kree people, I mean, are controlled or governed by some sort of super intelligent. They call it it's not artificial intelligence, but they call it ultimate intelligence. They call it some sort of intelligence, something like that. And the ultimate intelligence appears as the person who they would like to appear. So that's the other thing. So after Carol Danvers was taken, brainwashed, she still remembers certain elements, and she still sees that Lawson character as in her artificial or intelligence encounters. So intelligence encounter is kind of is dictating her that she needs to be good and whatnot, and they put that limiter. Once the limiter is removed, Carol Danvers can now activate that photon energy in her entire body. She can fly. She can fly quite fast, by the way. So we are looking at maybe near Superman or Superman level flight speed, which is also now in the Marvel universe something like Tony Stark, Iron Man level. So in fact, one thing, whenever I even watch the trailer, I noticed now, yes, so she changes the color from the cream, which is green, to this blue, red color. And as you know, Iron Man also contains American flag colors, so blue and red. And now one with a costume and Iron Man with an armor actually give this a very similar or even the same vibe from themselves. So, and both can fly, right? And both can shoot beams from their hands, just like Captain Marvel. So in a sense, Iron Man and Captain Marvel is as if projected to be kind of a complementing pair with each other. In fact, even if you have watched Infinity Wars, maybe I shouldn't spoil it much, but you already know the costume of the Spider-Man is blue and red as well. So blue-red on Spider-Man, blue-red on Iron Man, blue-red on Captain Marvel. And the upcoming movie, I think there was going to be, because both Iron Man and Captain Marvel can fly at high speed, there will be some sort of, I think, fight scene there where they will just go back and forth and help each other, something like that. One concern that Angry Joe had when I watched it is Captain Marvel, now that she unlocks her own potential after removing the limiter and can do very nice ass kicking just now in regular hand-to-hand combat, but she can just basically destroy. She destroys actually a spaceship there. So she just basically, because she activates her entire energy, whole body, she can like penetrate. She penetrates a spaceship from one side to another side and basically destroys it. Whereas, yeah, I think Iron Man could do something similar with the beams and weapons as well. So I would say many people now think that, or Angry Joe is thinking that Captain Marvel is too strong. I think her strong level and also appearance and everything is pretty much comparable to Iron Man's latest costume. If you have watched Infinity War, Iron Man was quite strong as well. So her level is going to be at that point, and I don't think way more superior than Iron Man. On the other hand, I don't think Iron Man can do just space travel, and at the end, it looked like Captain Marvel was doing space travel with the light speed, but I think using the light speed machine, I don't think without that machine that would be too overkill that she can do simply light speed travel. Couple of other things that I now remember, she's using not cell phone, just a Bluetooth phone to contact the Jude Law people, which are someplace else on the galaxy or something. So how come she can do real-time messaging? That doesn't make sense. And using some phone technology. So she connects the phone to her device. She has a device on her arm, on her costume, or whatever. Maybe it's an armor. I don't know. Some sort of an armor. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so whenever you talk about something like light speed, whenever you introduce it, you already are like talking about some supernatural science there, and there are a couple of more elements there. So on one hand, these people are using like guns. On the other hand, they can do light speed travel. Really? And on one hand, they rely on hand-to-hand combat, and on the other hand, yes, she can communicate using some phone booth with somebody in space, far away. so it doesn't make sense at all. I guess there was one more character, with a black character with some a white beard that also appeared in Guardian of the Galaxy. It's been a while that I watched Guardian of the Defenders, not this, Guardians of the Galaxy, right? So yeah, I cannot remember him. He was the guy who was asking, "What are you Star Wars?" And yeah, the other thing is, so the cat portion was on one hand cute, on the other hand, yeah, it's made to be to make the movie cute. So the name is Goose. I think the name is Chewie, but I think Goose is a better name. So again, Chewie, I guess short for Chewbacca or something. Yeah, could be an interesting Star Wars reference, but Goose is a funny name for a cat. So calling another animal cat is nice. But apparently cat is actually a species, not cat, but flecken, something like that. And the octopus-like tentacles coming from that small creature, yeah, it was a bit too forced. At least they could have made it less octopusy and more some fury things, because cat has fur, right? That was again out of place. But Nick Fury likes this cat, and apparently at some point the cat just scratches his eyes, and that's how he loses his eye. That was like so goofy or ridiculous that it again was out of place. So that serious character, Nick Fury, loses his sight because of that. Really? This was one of the elements that people wanted to know all the time, right? And the other thing is the name Avengers. So this was a Nick Fury idea, right? If you remember Captain America, the first Avengers. So yeah, the name Avenger apparently also comes from Captain Carol Danvers' nickname on the plane. So it is Captain Carol Avenger Danvers, Avenger in quotation, nickname. So when Nick Fury is writing Protector Initiative, he deletes the Protector. It doesn't say that he writes it, doesn't show it, but you can understand. Protector becomes Avenger, because they're not really there to avenge, right? They're actually there to protect. You first protect, and if you cannot protect, then if your loved ones are harmed, etc., you are harmed, you avenge that. So however, if you protect successfully, there's nothing to avenge. So in other sense, Avenger name is actually almost always out of place. Yes, then you can always avenge things, but you first need to defend it, just like Shield, right? And this is also the introduction with the Nick Fury getting introduced to these super natural characters. And Carol Danvers happens to be Captain America, happens to be the first thing. And Captain America at the end, when she leaves, Captain Marvel, did I say Captain America? Captain Marvel, when she leaves, that's another maybe plot thing. So she knows so much, so she can immediately integrate with human technology. She takes the pager of Nick Fury and modifies it so that it can cover several galaxies. That's almost exactly what she says. What the hell? If you can do something like that, why are you still fighting with guns? Yeah, now that I think about it, the plot is so much inconsistent from a science or technology perspective. Though, to be honest, the plot is almost always inconsistent from those perspectives. Though, maybe even more so in this movie, if you think about it. At some point I thought, but I just let that thought go. So, yeah, it's a bit too much for seeing the consistency or inconsistency of this technology between people there. Other than that, yeah, I don't need to mention every other element. Fight scenes were nice. Action, yeah, there was much more action. So it all kind of straightforward. Starts with action. Starts with on the planet of Kree. that are supposedly good guys and on their way to rendezvous with a spy among the scroll. And yeah, those are really nice scenes. The AI encounter with Captain Marvel is nice. Um, yeah, it could have been that. Yeah, Captain Marvel, the emotion part. She's a soldier, but she's still a woman. She could have like. Now, I don't like those artificial tears. People just drop something there and you suddenly cry. That's not how you really cry. Though there could have been some more emotional perspective when Carol Danvers was realizing that she was part of the planet actually, and when she retains her exact memories and gets rid of brainwashing, she could have been more emotionally because you would. Like even a very strong person would be impacted by that. She showed zero impact almost. Likewise, the person, she has a black female character that was a little bit unrealistic in the way her character was. She gave me much less soldier vibes than, to be honest, Brie Larson. So, but I let it go again. Yeah, so for the first time they meet and there is supposedly an emotional moment, but only that lady, black lady, is showing emotion again, and Brie Larson is like, yeah, sorry, but although I'm not. So yeah, that I can see could have been portrayed at that on these paces a bit better. But overall, and the way they post-credit scene, I'm going to spoil that too. That and that they are activating that pager device now that things are in crisis out of hand. The Captain America is activating it, and they are basically waiting to see what's going to happen. All the signal is lost there, and then Carol Danvers disappears. I thought she was going to appear in a more flashy way, coming from either a galaxy or from the same galaxy after activation and using some light speed. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but if you activate it, you can't come there even at light speed, like instantly. Light speed of light will take so many years between main stars. The closest star to our home is like 4 light years away. So she should be at the very vicinity of Earth in order to come that fast. Anyway, so apparently it's beyond the light speed thing. Yeah, so I think if they do it well in the end game, Captain Marvel can boost a lot of fighting power. Hopefully, they are not just going to be the person who comes and destroys Thanos on her own. Yeah, I agree, this would be a bad idea, but I don't think this is gonna happen. And yeah, she's a female, so we now have the Black Widow, who was in many cases the lone female there. I mean, she just does some pickup thingy, and with her gun, she can, I think, kill a couple of enemies and such, but she was weak. Whereas Captain Marvel, Scarlet Witch, has been portrayed to be strong as well, but compared to two, their powers are different. Captain Marvel is at least as strong, but now that she has like a full body thing, whereas Scarlet Witch does not have a full body thing, whatever her power is. That's telekinetic or beam type of powers. Yeah. So Captain Marvel also has beam power. But yeah, compared to Iron Man, I think now there's Scarlet Witch, Iron Man, Captain Marvel. I would say they are on similar levels, even though their powers look differently. One thing is Iron Man is just a human, and I think he can run out of some fuel at some point. Although I don't know. He had very good armor, very good Iron Man armor suit in the latest movie. So overall, then there are some plot issues. but this is not the biggest plot issue movie, I would say. Many people said the quality of this movie is Thor Dark World level. Yeah, yeah, I think there's definitely a thing that I watch most movies not in theater and I'm not immersed and such. And I watched this 3D even though I didn't want to watch 3D. 3D elements, yeah, were there even though I don't care, to be honest. So, yeah, after the spoiler, I can still say that I recommend, and there were several aspects that I enjoyed. Fight scenes were good, jokes were yeah okay, and ending was satisfactory. The weak villain thing, Ronan is helpful. Jude Law is kind of weak, yes, and the previous fake villains, now the good guys, Skrull, are weak as well. Though I'm not that much worried about because this was a character development and introduction of the Captain Marvel, than rather than super huge villain thing. Super huge villain is the Thanos himself. I think I'm glad that I saw it. Now I am ready for Endgame, and without this, I would have been less ready, and I would have a question mark. And it's not, yeah, even for getting rid of the question mark, you can see that. But even from a Marvel movie quality, this is at least at average level. It's not the worst movie, I think, at all. I think Thor Dark World, I mean, not that much inferior, but still inferior to this. And Iron Man 3, that I didn't like that movie much. I think Iron Man 3 was also inferior to this. So if you ever enjoyed, and another thing, yeah, last I need to say that after so many movies, it's so hard to satisfy because you have seen so much. And the fact that I can say that this is not the worst movie, this is at least average within that, maybe even a good movie. I think it's a good movie, and I think it's also one of the better movies of Marvel Universe movies. Is such a big accomplishment, I would say. I think it's very hard to do it at this point, and they did a nice job. So I commend Marvel Studios for that, and I enjoyed it, and I hope you did as well. Okay, that's all for now, and if you agree or disagree, you can let me know. Alright, that's all. Thanks for listening and watching. Have a nice day. Bye.